Good morning, Tracy.
Hi, how are you?
I am doing so well. Did you have a good Easter weekend?
Yes, did you guys?
Yes, I did. How about you, Maureen?
I did. I had a great weekend.
Good, good. Well, Tracy, I've been studying up on some of your things. I've taken some of your webinars before. And
Yeah.
so I did go through before this and update my Facebook profile. Um, I thought, well, it's one of the things I wanted to do after I watched your webinar. I just never got around to it. So I
Yeah,
think you should go ahead and take a minute and introduce yourself and your business to us.
sure. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to see you, Maureen. I am
Hmm.
Tracy Beavers. I'm a business and sales coach from Little Rock, Arkansas. And my backstory is about 7 years ago, I just had enough of my corporate career. Never thought I would reach that point, and I hatched a plan to exit. Through some really great friends and a mastermind I was in, they helped me discover that I should be a coach. I'd had an award-winning sales career in corporate. People were always asking me about sales, about business development, business growth, marketing, all the things. And so I decided to jump into the crazy entrepreneur space, and I haven't looked back. Now, it did take me about a year and a half to fully be able to exit my job, but I did. And my forte now, my business has evolved. When I first started, I was like general business and sales coach, taking all comers, you know how you do. And then it is evolved into a focus of visibility and list growth. Because over and over and over again, my clients and students were saying, I've got this awesome offer, but nobody's buying it. And I'm like, do you have an audience? And they don't. They put the cart before the horse. And so I have over 10 strategies that I teach in my 8-week group coaching programs called Business Visibility Made Easy. It's actually kicking off tomorrow with our first live masterclass. But I developed the strategies because I tried paid ads, major expensive fail. Don't do it. I mean, well, you could try it, but I mean, it didn't work for me. That's all I'm saying. So that was a no-go, right, for list growth. And all the list growth coaches and the people said to create a lead magnet and put it out on social media. Okay, I did that, and I was like, I got to get out of this corporate job. And I thought there's got to be other ways to grow this list, and there are. And so that's how my program was born out of all that frustration.
Well, good, good. And so
Yeah,
speaking of
thanks.
your program, guess what I just got?
Oh, did you just get a DM from my auto sender?
Yes, did you hear the ding? And I'm like, somebody, who is that? Oh, it's Tracy. Tracy, what do you need?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I'm
glad
using
you're listening.
um I'm using this awesome new CRM system called Group Track that sends DMs for me in times like this when I want everybody to know about the masterclass. So that's so fun. It worked. Yay.
Yay. All righty. Well, why don't you go ahead and jump in? I have my notebook and my pen, and I
Yes.
am excited to take notes and learn.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to teach you one of 10 strategies that I teach. And it has to do with being able to be consistent with our online presence and our content, but without losing our minds. So this strategy is one that I was born out of need for me because building alongside that full-time job, two kids that at the time were in high school and middle school, played every sport that had a ball, we were busy. And so I had to figure out, oh my gosh, how am I going to create this content week in, week out without losing my freaking mind? And so this is what I developed and I still use it to this day. It works really well. So, but I want to back up just a minute. So when it comes to the income that we really want, we've got to reverse engineer back through how do we get there? How do we get to the sustainable, consistent monthly income as online entrepreneurs? Well, the answer is, in my opinion, list growth, right? Having that list, being able to have leads coming in, being able to have DM conversations like Colleen and I are having right now with my CRM, and having people land on your list. But to get the list growth and the leads, we've got to be visible, okay? But to be visible, we've got to have enough content to be consistent for that visibility, for the algorithm to pick us up, for our audience to start recognizing us, for our audience to start expecting us. And that's where the overwhelm can set in. People are like, oh my gosh, you mean I've got to create all this? Okay, well, let's just make it easy. All right, so we're gonna focus on creating content consistently and with ease. And so the first part of this strategy is what I call social media made easy. I have a freebie on it, and it is creating 90 days of social media content topics in only 30 minutes. And so that's the first step. So the first thing we do in this exercise is I want you to visualize your ideal client. I want you to just let their entire thing, just the whole person of them wash over you. Who are they? What do they need? What can you give them? What are they feeling? What are they saying? What are the questions they're asking? Because I guarantee you, you guys are asked the same questions over and over and over again. We just don't think about it, right? Until we actually take time to think about it. And then we're like, oh my gosh, people are asking me that question over and over and over again. Or this is an area where people are stubbing their toe over and over and over again. But until we allow ourselves to really think about it, sometimes we miss those cues. So doing this for like a minute or two, just letting that wash over you. Then what I want you to do is I want you to just don't even think about it. Just brain dump everything that came to your mind. Don't try to filter it. Don't decide if it's good or bad, right or wrong. Just get it out. Get it out on paper or in audio form or whatever works best for you. And literally just list the emotions, the words, the questions, the things that are popping up for them. And then based on that, I want you to look at that and I want you to brain dump again topic ideas that you teach that relate to the work you do that you know they want. Like for me, my clients and students, my audience wants to know how to get more leads coming in, more list growth, and more money. And I teach Facebook. So when I'm thinking through this, the topic ideas that come up for me are the things you guys have probably heard me teach for years. How to max out your Facebook personal profile, make it a list growth funnel. How to create content with ease, what we're going to talk about today. There's another topic. How to create your own free Facebook group as a list growth strategy. There's another possible topic. How to collaborate with other people and make sure that that collaboration leads to list growth and leads for you. So these are all things that I'm listing. And I want you to try to get to 12 because with my strategy, we take one topic per week, just one. And if you've got 12 topics, that's 12 weeks, which is 90 days. And so then what I want you to do is I want you to decide what your regular piece of weekly content is going to be. And this is a place where my clients and students stub their toe as well because they forget we really need to have a regular, sustainable piece of weekly content. For me, it's been live video every Thursday at 11:30 for years. And now we repurpose that into my podcast. So I kind of get a twofer out of it. I'm going live and then I've got the podcast going on. But for some of my students, live video feels really daunting. They're like, oh, I might pass out. And I'm like, okay, no worries. Consider having a podcast. Video is king. Live video is king. King times two, because the algorithm loves live video and favors it. And that's one of the only ways you can reach beyond the people that are currently your friends and followers. And that's really what we want, is to attract new people to us. So that's why I recommend live video. But if you can't do video live, consider pre-recorded. It's not as good as live, but it's still a video. And I love video because you can see me, like right now, you can see my face, my crazy hand gestures, me stumbling over my notes. I mean, the whole thing. And you can get to know me really fast and decide, oh, she's for me, or, oh, no, she's not for me. Podcast, great second, because you can still hear my voice and you can still hear my inflection and my passion and my warmth and my personality. Now, if those two options are still not good for you, it's okay. Let's do a blog. Let's make it easy. Let's do a blog, but make sure that you study up on SEO best practices for that blog. Right? So we pick our regular piece of weekly content. And so for me, it was live video. And I picked the day of the week, every week that I knew I could do this and write out my live training. And that was going to be on Friday for me. So on Friday, every week, even if I didn't feel like it, right? This is where I had to put on my CEO pants and hold my nose and do it anyway. Even if I was tired, I had to look at that topic that I had put on for that week. And if I didn't want to talk about that topic, that's too bad. Because the minute I said, oh, I'll find another topic, I don't want to talk about that. No, Monday would come, I'd be back at work, I'd have no content, right? So when you're mapping these out, just stick with it. Even if you feel like you've talked about it ad nauseum. Who wants to hear me talk about Facebook personal profile one more time, or social media content with ease, or whatever it is that I've got. Okay. So Friday, I would look at that topic I would write out, I use the same format every week. Again, let's make this easy on you. So if you're writing a blog, use the same framework every week. Make sure you've got a call to action. If you're going live or you're doing a video, same framework. This is another strategy I teach is live video. We've got an entire module on it in my program because it's so important. But you'll hear me say the same things every week if you really listen. And that's by design because people have to hear things a whole lot before it sticks. And then I'm starting to get known for some of the branding that I'm using in what I'm saying. So I write out the live script. I've got a hook at the top of, hey, today, this is what we're going to talk about. Then I do my intro. Then I do the meat of the training. And then I do my call to action and my outro. So every week, the meat of the training and the hook are really the only things that are going to change. So on Friday, I will pull up the script I wrote last week and I will copy and paste it into a fresh Google Doc. And I'll delete the hook and I'll delete the middle part, check the call to action, see if I still want to use that week. And then I'll write out what I'm going to say. 2 to 3 points about my topic. Then here's where the magic happens. And when I started doing this back in the Stone Age, we didn't have AI, or maybe we had AI, but I didn't know about it. But now, free version of ChatGPT, y'all. This is going to be incredible. You take the notes that you wrote, the blog that you wrote, or the podcast script that you wrote. You throw that into ChatGPT and you say, hey, could you please write me 2 to 3 social media posts that pertain to what I'm going to talk about on this live training? And it'll spit them out and you want to rework them, make sure they sound like you, right? Take out all those crazy emojis that they always like to put in there. I don't know why ChatGPT loves emojis so much. It just kills me. But anyway, take some of those out. And then make sure you have a call to action with it. But there you go. Look, you've got a live that you're going to do or a podcast or a blog. That's one piece of content, right? Every Thursday at 11:30, I was going live. Or every Thursday, you could post a fresh blog. There's one day you've covered. Then you've got 2 to 3. Let's say that's 2 social media posts to go with it. There's 3 pieces. Then you could do, if you wrote a blog, you could go live about it. Or since I'm live, I could write a blog about it. There's another piece of content, right? And I haven't had to recreate anything. I'm just repurposing what I did. And then your email to your list. You can email them and say, I've got a new blog coming out. It's all about XYZ and PDQ, and this is why you're going to want it. Watch for it on Thursday. Or, hey, I wrote this blog post for you last week. I think you're going to love it, and here's why. Let's make it easy. My email every Tuesday is, hey, Colleen, this is what I'm going to talk about live on Thursday. Here's why I want you with me. Here's the link to join me. I'm not reinventing the wheel on this stuff. I'm making it easy. And so then let's talk about your evergreen content. What I call evergreen content is things like promoting my free Facebook group. That's a lead magnet. Promoting my podcast. That's a lead magnet. Promoting my lead magnets, right? Throw some of those in there. And now look at what you've got for the whole week. Colleen, do you have a question?
I do have a question. So when you were talking about making sure that your blog is SEO rich, when I started doing that, I found that it was easiest to start with Yoast and because on most of the WordPress, you can just select Yoast and it goes through it with you step by step.
Yeah.
Do you find that that's the best way, or is there a better way that you have?
I actually don't worry about SEO. I hire that out or I just do the best I can with it in ChatGPT,
Okay.
which is probably not a great strategy. That's why I prefer live video.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not the SEO expert.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So any other questions about what I've just walked through? I'd love to walk back through it one more time if that's okay, because I know it's a new thing. Okay, so we're going to map out our topics. If you can get to 12 topics, fabulous. If you can only get 6, that's okay. That's 6 weeks, right? You've mapped out. We're going to look at that one topic. We're not going to worry about the week before. We're not going to worry about the week ahead. And we're not going to worry about making it A++++. Okay? We're going to go for B+ work, and we're going to get it done. If you want to do A+ the next week, that's okay. But I have weeks where I will literally go back and pull something that I did 6 months ago because I am tired. I don't want to have to think of anything new. So the one topic, your regular piece of weekly content, write that out, prepare that. Then let AI be your best friend, get you a couple of fresh social media posts based on the topic, let it help you with the email to your list based on that topic, and then throw in your evergreen pieces. Because with our lead magnets, if you've got each lead magnet, all you need to do is create 2 pieces of social media copy and 2 fresh graphics. That way you've got some options. That way your audience doesn't go tone deaf to your lead magnet posts. And you can sprinkle those in and rotate those around. Promote your free Facebook group, promote your podcast, promote your live training, promote your blog. Yeah, so I hope that helps.
So on your evergreen, if I can just interrupt for a second,
Yeah.
on your evergreen for your lead magnet, so you're saying take your lead magnets you already have and just create 2 social, maybe plug them into your chat, whatever you're doing, or your AI, and create 2 social media copies and 2 fresh graphics. So fresh as opposed to, like, usually I show the front of my lead magnet.
Yeah, so I did that for a long time. I would make a graphic out of the cover page of the lead
Right.
magnet, and I did that for years, but I think my audience is probably grown tone deaf to it, you know? And so I decided just in the past few months that I would rework the copy, have 2 versions of copy and 2 graphics, and then we just rotate it.
That's
But
interesting. I saw somebody else say that as opposed to showing your graphic as like, here's a picture of it,
uh-huh.
instead say, oh, look what I got in the mail today. Here's my lead magnet. Because then you have a physical option that they can look at. So it brings it more relevant in their world, right?
Mhm.
Makes it
Also,
more real.
we kind of switched up my branding a little bit, where instead of using that cover photo of the lead magnet, it's a picture of me or a picture of my dog with a little blurb about it and an arrow that says, I think something like, like one of them says, did you know your Facebook personal profile can grow your email list? And then I'm pointing, or we've got an arrow there to point up to the copy. One's a picture of my dog, and it says something about um, I'm talking about mindset and the freebie I have about rewiring your brain for success. And so it's something on there about that. So it just kind of captures attention. I'm hearing a lot lately that pictures of us really do well.
I've also heard that. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good. That's awesome. So I think that's quite a bit that you've given us here. Now, are you going to be able to drop your link to your lead magnet? You had mentioned you had a lead magnet for your, which one was it? I wrote it down.
Is
Um,
it social media copy made easy or social media made easy?
yes.
That one? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. I'll put that in the chat.
Okay.
It's
And then I'll go back and add that to underneath the post and everywhere that I posted also.
Yay, thanks. Yeah, it's tracybeavers.com/social for anybody that's listening and um, driving or something like that. Listening on replay. I like to do that when I'm walking the dog or, doing
Right.
something else. So
Right. Well, this has been amazing, Tracy. I really appreciate
thanks.
it. So, a little bit new perspective. I was going to ask you, I think you had talked, and this is off topic, so if you don't want to answer, that's okay too. I think in one of the webinars I watched, you had talked about about utilizing your cover photo on Facebook profile,
Mhm, mhm.
right? The long one, not your profile picture.
Right.
Talk to me about that a little bit. Do you have any key pointers you can just
I do, but the secret sauce of that I teach in my paid program.
Oh,
So
did I go to your
but
paid
I
program?
will.
I must have gone to your paid program.
Yeah. So the live master classes I have that are starting this week, I teach 4 strategies in those. But that cover photo secret sauce, that's in Business Visibility Made Easy, the 8-week group coaching program. But what I will say is you want to showcase something that leads to your email list. So right now, if you look at my Facebook personal profile cover photo, it showcases my live masterclass because my masterclass builds my list. When I'm not in launch, we switch it back to showcasing my free Facebook group, which is another strategy I teach because of the way I have the membership entry questions set up. People want to give me their email list when they come into my group. And that grows my list by hundreds of people every single month. And having the personal profile dialed in, 85% of those people that are joining my group, I've never even met. They've just seen me online. They've seen me interacting in free groups, which is another strategy I teach. And the funnel works for me. And I'll ask them in the DMs, how did we connect? And they're like, I saw you in XYZ group and I really like what you said. Or I heard you in Colleen's group and I really like what you said. Or I heard you on a podcast, really liked what you said. But then they go to that Facebook personal profile and everything I need to tell them about me is right there.
Right, right. Well, very good, very good.
Thanks. So forgive me for not answering that very
Nope,
detailed
that's
question
okay. I will
fully.
go back to my training that I took with you and re-listen to it again.
Okay.
I just thought I'd do a shortcut here. Maureen, do you have any questions?
No, I love everything you said, was taking notes and definitely will rewatch and grab your freebie. But I love, the repurposing of content,
Yeah.
so I think that's definitely, we don't want to burn ourselves out as entrepreneurs. We're
No.
way too busy to
Yeah.
rewrite
Oh,
every piece of content.
and speaking of that, the one thing I forgot to mention is when you get to the end of the 90 days or the 12 weeks, go back to week one
Yeah.
and look at what went well and
Mhm,
reuse it because
mhm,
I'm not going to know what you posted 90 days ago.
right.
And if anybody does, they're either a stalker or a super fan. Either way, there's a conversation that needs to happen.
Absolutely. All
Definitely.
right. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate your time. I
Yes.
appreciate you joining us, Tracy, and sharing your expertise. This
Thank you
has
for the
been great.
opportunity.
You bet.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
going to
you
go
so
ahead
much.
and copy this so that I can um, share it in the group. There we go. All righty. Thank you, ladies.
All right. Good to see
Perfect.
you.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a great week.